Hi, we're going to take a look at using law signs, law cosines to solve problems. So we've practiced the trig ratios to find lengths and angles, and now we're going to use law signs so that you can find angles in their opposite sides for any triangle. So now it doesn't mean that it just has to be a right triangle. It could be any type of triangle. And the way that this works is that you have the sine of one angle. You have the sine of one angle, let's say A, divided by its opposite side, which is A. It's also equal to the sine of angle B divided by its side length B. And then finally, we have sine of angle C is equal to its opposite side, which is C. So we're going to take a look and see, well, what does this all mean? How do we apply this? So in our example, we have two angles, angle 71 and its opposite side is x. So we have sine of 71 is to x as, and then our other angle is 35 and its opposite side is 12. So it'd be sine of 35 divided by 12. Same thing that we're doing with trig, we can cross multiply to solve. So that means we would have x times sine of 35 is equal to 12 times the sine of 71. We solve it similarly. We just type in these ratios to figure out what x would be once we divide sine of 35 on both sides. So when you plug that in your calculator, you would get x is equal to 19.8. So in your calculator, you would put 12 times sine of 71, that whole thing divided by sine of 35. Make sure you're in degree mode if you don't get that same value. We have one more example that is very similar to it, but you might have to find some missing pieces first. So you start with one of your angles. So we know we have angle 77 and its opposite side would be 14. We have sine of 77 divided by 14 is equal to, well, x is the other angle and you have to find the opposite side. So it'd be sine of x over 9. So in this case, we're solving for the angle using sine, and the other one we're using we had to find the sides. Same thing, we cross multiply. So you'd have 9 times the sine of 77 is equal to 14 times the sine of x, and divide by 14, because we want to try to get sine of x by itself. By dividing by 14 on both sides, you would be left with sine of x is equal to 0.6264. This is where you have to find the angle. To find angles, you would have to use inverse. So that would look like the inverse of x is equal to 0.6264, and you should be getting an angle measure that would be 38.8 rounded to the nearest tenth